In the first instance, I'll wish to welcome you all for this session, which is on difficult situations in phacoemulsification. And I have with me distinguished speakers, uh, Dr. Ramamurthy. As you all know, he's the past president of AIOS and proficient phaco and refractive and retina surgeon. And he's uh, the promoter and founder for Eye Foundation. Then I have Dr. Kumar Doctor, who runs the Dr. Eye Institute and among the initial pioneers for phaco, and Dr. Hemlata Gupta, who is from Center for Sight, and Dr. Purender Bhasin will join us pretty soon, and Gaurav Luthra and Shreyas. Well, I'll start my the first talk, which is on the femtolaser-assisted cataract surgery for complex cases. Now, femto is a tool for the routine surgeries, but more so for the challenging cases, and it is in the challenging cases that you are able to find out the basic advantage that one has with the femto laser assisted cataract surgery. Now, let me come to first the flax in posterior polar cataract, wherein I ensure that if a person has a posterior polar cataract, I'll push that person into getting a femtolaser assisted cataract surgery, and this is what we published in the Journal for Cataract and Refractive Surgery, that how would you use the femtolaser to find out whether in posterior polar cataract there is a pre-existing rent or not. And if there is a pre-existing rent, what all you can do in with the aid of the imaging system in the femtolaser. Now, what is important is that the images help you see. This is a clear-cut case of a big rent that you have. This is seen on the slit lamp. So this was a big rent that was there, which you should even see on the slit lamp. And you can see that this is the rent which is thrown up on the OCT of the femtolaser. So what is important here is that you have to leave behind an epinuclear cushion so that this particular area does not dehisce, because there is a big dehiscence which is there. So what you can see is that these bubbles we are raising, and as we are raising, we are giving away a particular epinuclear cushion. So this is a 5 millimeter capsulotomy that we have done, and then a nuclear disassembly. See this rent which is there on the table after the femto. This is an integrated optical OCT on the microscope, and you can see that there is a rent which is there. Now, what is important here is how has the femto helped? We have not rotated anything, but there was a pneumodissection, and with the pneumodissection, the entire nucleus was being removed. And you can see that this is what I told you, that we have a thick epinuclear plate. Now, once you had removed the epinuclear plate, you can see gently when you are aspirating, you have been able to aspirate the entire cortex also without breaking the vitreous phase, and you can go ahead and get out with this particular thing. Now, this is just to show you that a slit lamp examination is important for you. This is a rare thing where you see such a huge defect, but this is the integrated microscope. Even the IOL master can give you the image, and you can see that this was the clear-cut epithelial defect that we got on the femto. And therefore, you can see that this blue area is where we did the nucleotomy. Once we did the nucleotomy here, we have left behind a thick epinuclear cushion, and therefore we were able to take it out, the nucleus, without any fall of the nucleus into the vitreous cavity. Now, this is just another case. Again, you can see that here, this is the defect which can clearly be seen, and we are able to actually do the phaco, and we are able to get the whole thing out. Now, when you're looking at a small pupil, you can use a Malyugin ring and get back the patient onto the femto machine and go ahead and do a femto laser even in a small pupil. Now, this is a flax in a small pupil, as you can see, particularly in this particular case. You can go in. This is a Malyugin ring which is being put. Once the Malyugin ring has been put, you can see that there is a subluxation in this particular case. And you are able to actually do the entire procedure even with the small pupil that you have. Now, this is a toric IOL that we have used in 18 cut RK. The only thing is that these RK incisions are going to have a little effect on the capsulorhexis. So what we do is that when we are doing the capsulotomy, we increase the energy, that energy setting, so that we are able to get a good capsulotomy despite an RK. And the only thing we do is that we don't place an incision, because it is better to do a limbal incision, and we will not be able to do a limbal incision with the femto. So otherwise, the rest of the procedure goes on pretty much the same as in any other case, but you can even do in minor corneal opacities or RK that you have, you can do these procedures. Now, this is a case of post-traumatic cataract, and we have to do, you can see there is sphincteric atrophy. We are just, pupil is dilated. Can you see a subluxation here? The biggest advantage here is that in these particular cases, you are not requiring to have a counter traction or a traction on the capsulorhexis, which is required in a needle. So a femto, even in the presence of vitreous in the AC, is going to work, and you will get a fantastic capsulorhexis. You will have a pre-chopped nucleus, and therefore the disturbance which is there, which is likely to be there, is going to be very little. And you can see we can go ahead and put in a lens which is there, and then an endocapsular ring, and do an SFT in this particular case to bring down the pupil, as you can see. So tough situations like these, where there is a subluxation, dilated pupil, etc., can be done. This is a case with an ICL which has caused femtocataract, which has caused a cataract. The important thing in the ICL is that the optic of the ICL is recognized as the pupil. So that you have to see, that you have to enlarge it and bring it on. And the second thing is that this blue line often gets confused with the lens, the ICL lens surface. You can see this is the vault, and you can see this is the anterior capsule, which has to be cut. So the only important thing is increase the energy, and you can see we are bringing the whole thing into the proper perspective as regards the anterior capsule, increasing the pupil to the size, and you can see we have got a fantastic capsulorhexis. There is no problem, but I still use trypan blue in all these cases, that if there is any skip area that you might have, you will be able to take it out. So typically, an LRI has also been done in this particular case. These patients are usually very high myopes. At times, you don't get a toric lens. So the LRI in these particular cases can help you in getting a great outcome, even in such cases where you have a cataract in the eyes. You see, this is a 3-piece lens. So this is an odd power sensor lens that we are putting, because the patient had a minus power. Unfortunately, you don't get toric and single-piece lenses for this. If there is a phacomorphic glaucoma, the biggest advantage of femto is that you're working on a closed chamber. You can see that there is a huge swelling of the nucleus which is there. The iris is coming close to the whole thing. We are doing an LRI which is going to be here. And just look here. There you can see it came out like a boom. You never get an extension, or you almost never get an extension of the capsulorhexis, but always use a trypan blue, because there could be skip areas with the lenticular fluid that is coming out. But working on what you have, the Argentinian flag sign, if you open the chamber, which you have to do if you are doing a manual capsulorhexis, you will get an extension, but in a closed chamber, you don't get an extension. Now, this is another thing, acute ACG. Can you see this huge lens that is there for this particular patient? And you can see that the lens thickness here is about 5.85 millimeters. So this is going to be a fantastic case where just a removal of the lens, which we did with femto, and a PI that you did, you could see that the chamber falls back and the ACG. So at times, we are very happy to even do a lens extraction without a cataract for recalcitrant cases of angle closure glaucoma, where on anterior you can find a thick nucleus, and the cataract like a 5.8 or a 6, and this is the PI that you can see later on. Rock hard cataracts, again, as long as the cataract is not white, you can see that we get a good capsulorhexis. This is a black cataract, and can you see these bubbles coming out? And you can see that the pre-chopping is effective. So what we do is that we run the laser 3 times in the same meridian. That means that you can get a deeper penetration, and you are able to pre-chop even such black dense cataracts. White cataract will not allow the focusing, and you are able to reduce the amount of energy that is used. So friends, to sum up, I will say that as technology of femtocataract evolves, it finds widespread use in complex cases. And I would say that it's time to take the leap and switch over to the power of femto. The penetration of femto has gone up. In my personal practice, 70 to 80% of my cases I do with femto. And overall, there is a growth of about 15 to 20% like for like in various centers in India. So this is all that I would wish to say, that femto is a tool that helps the most in complex cases. And to conclude, many devices and aids are also there which help develop the cataract surgeon during these complex cases apart from the femto. And the primary aim is to reduce the surgical stress and the time, and to reduce the ultrasound power and to give better outcomes. And each machines come with the pros and cons. The most difficult thing in the femto is to maintain and to buy a femto. But technology is changing at a rapid pace, and the ones that withstand the test of time will survive. And I think femto, which is now 15 to 20 years old, is a technology that is there to stay. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.